Welcome back to Atmosfearic. I'm joined here again with Ciaran.
Hello.
And today's episode, we're going to be talking about the wondrous world of oh my word, slasher
Blah,
flicks
blah, blah,
and
blah, blah.
slasher genre and all those things. That is staying in, by the way. That is absolutely staying in.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Absolutely. But slashers are kind of the fundamental, I feel, the kind of baseline for a lot of horror, alongside, I guess, haunting related stuff.
Yeah, I
But
can see that.
it's the more grounded stepbrother of horror. Its focus
No.
its focus is definitely a lot more grounded than, the demonic possessions, aliens, and all that stuff.
Help me,
Oh,
Step Slasher. I'm stuck.
help me, step slasher. It it is a wonderful genre that I also feel is a little bit overdid in some places, but it is a pretty fundamental thing that ends up acting as a basis for even films that do become supernatural eventually, which,
Mm.
one of your favorites is exactly that.
Yep.
But just kind of
You
wanted to
good?
extend that pause. I paused for literally 2 seconds, and then I saw you lean, and I was just like, I'm just gonna hold this for as long as possible.
I was like, you good?
What are your overall opinions in like the horror genre? Like what do you feel about it nowadays?
Horror or slashers in general?
Slashers in general, sorry.
I feel like slashers are nowadays underutilized. Because what big slasher flick have we really had recently, other than like, I hate to bring it up, Terrifier 3? Like, what other really big slasher flick have we had?
That is actually very valid. There hasn't actually been too many, and I actually kind of
Like
forgot that
most
Terrifier
things these
existed.
days, yeah, I try to. Um, but slashers these days don't really exist. Like most horror movies these days are all supernatural, possession, a lot of hauntings.
Mm-hmm.
Not really anything that's grounded in like a slasher anymore. Like just a dude going around killing people. Like you got the new Scream movie, I guess, but that's about it. Like
Yeah,
slashers is kind of a dying art form in like the horror genre, to be honest, which is really sad because
yeah.
it's where a lot of it started.
It's like really only used now as like a building block, I guess, to build off into some greater plot. That it's like, oh, okay, like, um, this is the slasher beginning is why there's ghosts in this house, or like, this
Yeah.
this slasher thing is like, why are people randomly killing people, you know? So like, it's like the more recently weapons. It's like, why are people killing people? I don't know, but it's not about that. It's about other stuff. Um, but like, yeah, it's definitely less frequent now, but I think it's because of the overuse of it. I think it got
Hmm.
very saturated, especially like obviously in the like late 70s and 80s, it was kind of the biggest deal, that's where the
I say
emergence
it
of
was a
things like,
primary. That was a primary genre, pretty much.
yeah, I mean that's where we got the iconic, Friday the 13th and Halloween and stuff like that around that time period. Um which is, quintessential horror at this point. Um
Hmm.
But then I feel like it kind of tapered off for a bit because everybody really, really, really went into the "my house is haunted" trope. I think throughout the early 2000s to about like 2013 or so, everybody was just like pumping out the next Paranormal Activity, pumping out the next
Oh
Amityville
my
Horror,
gosh! Yeah, the
pumping out
found footage stuff.
found footage ghost stuff, which, there's a couple in there that are gems, but it
There's
was
a
it
couple
was
good ones, but there's.
it's a lot. It became very manufactured, but it kind of had like the slashers kind of had a bit of a resurgence though after that wave of like ghost films. Um, but unfortunately, I think a lot of it there was some creativity in it. Like last episode we talked about Hush briefly, um,
Hmm.
but there was also a lot of just like, do you want another Halloween movie that you're probably not going to enjoy? Do you want
Yeah.
another TCM that you're not going to enjoy. Like it just became a lot of like remaking the Saw, if you want to consider that within the slasher-esque kind of genre. It's like there's 27,341 of those movies, and there's 63 in development right now.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it became, I think, I almost want to say muddied. It became muddied by a lot of iconic series not delivering to the same quality that they used to have. A couple gems, as I mentioned, in there, but then like a bunch of like subpar ones. I think we've just kind of reached a point where like it was a little bit of oversaturation, but it was also, I think a lot of people struggle to think of a backing plot to a slasher film. At least with a supernatural thing, you could do anything. You know, you can
Yeah.
say that, you know, it's a curse on the house. You could say it's a cursed item. You could say it's a, you know, a grudge. You could say it's whatever, and you can kind of like build off of it for there. You can also just be like, if it's a supernatural thing, it just is. It just simply is. But when you use just the argument of it just simply is in a more grounded slasher film, it doesn't really translate that well, and people would say it's just like a lazy thing. And that's for one reason kind of like I don't like Terrifier, for instance, because it just kind of just feels like, what's the motivation here? I don't know, man. He just likes killing people. It's like, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, I have a lot of issue with Terrifier. I have a lot of issues with that series as a whole. We talked about it when I was watching through all of them.
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't mind the first one as much, but I really feel like it's definitely
very
one off.
much like, it seemed very independent. It seemed like a very like film festival kind of horror, and I was like, you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that kind of vibe. Just like some crazy stuff happening, a good one-off introducing a character, because where Terrifier, it's nonsensical. Like the entirety to it is nonsensical. Like even the story, if you would call it that, isn't grounded in really anything that is brought out. The best part about that movie is art, because the actor who plays him is fantastic. I can't have any insults against him, because he did a fantastic job. Just it is choppy. It's choppy and sloppy. That's all that movie. Those movies are to me.
He definitely embodied the murder clown trope. I think probably the best out of anyone that I've really seen across different media. But yeah, it kind of became that thing where I was like, I kind of watched the first one like you kind of said, like it's it's got like art festival energy, like, you know, film festival kind of going on, and that I could be like, okay, as a little campy, little fun little project, that's fine. But going into, okay, now he's a ghost or something, and he's still killing people and all that, so it's like, oh, come on, man. Like, and I also hate that in even like the traditional ones, like when they continue to milk a character like Jason coming from hell and shit, like it's like I'm like once we get to those points, I'm just kind of like, all right, you're really running out of ideas. But then you have the contrast where you go into Saw and it's like, oh, we're not doing that, but what if he has 27 different proteges and copycats and, you know, random people who read a news article about it and decided to do it or something, which is a whole other issue. It's like two sides of the extreme. If we're going to the point where like slasher antagonists, not protagonists, are emerging from hell or from the paranormal dimensions versus, you know, Protege the sequel, I think both are pretty bad. I think it just, you know,
it stems from just studios not allowing a film to be just like a one-off or a sequel. It's constantly just like, hey, we did a really good thing here, let's move on to the next one. No, we did a really good thing here, I see the money, let me get all of it. And then eventually you've just gone down the road. The same thing was happened with Hellraiser. Like the first two or three Hellraisers are pretty damn good, and then it just kind of goes very, very, very downhill until they did that found footage one, which was god awful.
Yeah, that's very true.
And then we haven't heard anything from that franchise since, until that game got announced. It's going to be coming out.
Wasn't there supposed to be a show?
I thought there was. I think I heard something about it like briefly, and then it just got axed.
Yeah, because I heard for a bit there once that we had like the whole like female Hellraiser thing that was going on. They were like, "Oh yeah, show thing," and then like I never heard anything else about it, and I was just like, "Oh,
Mhm.
okay." Like I guess it's
Where
just
would
like
it
dead
go?
again. Yeah, I did see not official, but there was or is a Friday the 13th like short film. I don't know if you saw
Ooh,
that.
no, I did not.
Yeah, some I think YouTubers ended up putting together like a full feature quality. Like I think it's only like 12 minutes long, but it's literally Friday the 13th basically from their eye. Um and it looked at first I thought it was actually like official because it looked pretty good quality. But it was like no, this is some fan thing. I was like, "Oh, okay." So I'm on one hand I'm excited because I'm like more Friday the 13th content, but then on the other hand I was like, "Oh, but it's not official." But yeah, it was like a
I think
double-edged
Friday the
sword.
13th does the paranormal. I can't really say that Freddy does the paranormal slasher because I feel like he falls more in the realm of paranormal and campy
Yeah,
than
yeah,
slasher a lot for me.
yeah.
Friday the 13th, in my opinion, does paranormal and slasher, I think, the best with the way they handled it.
Yes, yeah, I can agree with
Whereas
that.
it combines the whole unliving, terrifying beast that is Jason with he's just using a machete.
Yeah, yeah. That's true.
And
It-
if you're in the camp, you're dead. That's it. That's it.
yeah, it doesn't rely on anything weird or like it's not like even though he's like hearing the voice of his mom and shit like that, it's not like she's like paranormally controlling everything in the camp and you just have like all this weird like feature ghost film combined with it. It's just like and it stays at its core, a slasher film and it just uses a paranormal device to give reason to
Hmm.
what's going on, which I think is a really good device for it. Um Compared to a lot of other films. Not saying that there aren't films out there that don't dabble between either like the supernatural or like the abstract and slasher that are necessarily like problematic. Like for instance, one of my all-time favorite, I would consider it loosely a slasher film is Alien. And that's just because it combines that sci-fi element, but then it's primarily just something stalking and stabbing people.
Okay, yeah.
So
If
like it's just like a from a sci-fi angle of a as a conduit for it. Just as the supernatural is backing Jason and Freddy and arguably Halloween too, but
Myers,
Halloween's weird. Halloween's weird.
Halloween got weird after H2O, and then when Rob Zombie started doing his films.
Yeah.
That I feel like that's when they got really weird because originally it was just I am psychopath. I have knife.
Mm-hmm.
That be. And then
Yeah.
Rob Zombie came in and was like, oh no, he's a devil marked child with this ritual in the moonlight and
He's the
supernatural bullshit.
Antichrist.
Like, okay, I kind of preferred when he was just crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's very true. Oh, I just actually thinking about the devil marked stuff. It just made me think of a movie I actually haven't even thought about, period, which kind of again falls somewhere in that weird middle ground of paranormal and slashery, The Omen.
Okay. Oh yeah. Wow, that's old.
That is old. Yeah, I know. That emerged. That emerged from the depths of my soul. I was like, I started seeing what I actually saw in my mind's eye wasn't even like The Omen. It was the game based on The Omen, Lucius.
Yep. Oh my
And
gosh, that game.
yeah, that game was the shit. The like, basically Hitman's, but horror kind of. Um, but yeah, that came into my head, and then I was like, wait, there's a movie of this. That was like
Wait,
The
I know
Omen.
this. I've seen
Yes,
this before.
I was like, this actually kind of semi fits into this little sub niche of slashers. Um, of
It's very
this,
funny. Would you consider Predator a slasher flick then?
yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah.
Like OG Predator 1 and 2,
I
like
think
in the jungle and in New York.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's kind of like that comparison of like the nitpicky comparison, if you want to call it that, where like Oh, would you consider World War Z a zombie film even though they're infected? Like, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, okay, they're not zombies, sure. They follow the mechanics of zombies, but they're not. It's kind of like that same thing where it's like, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like a slasher just for the most part boils down to a 9 times out of 10, it's a power discrepancy between the antagonist and the protagonist as they're being preyed upon by probably somebody who's just going to probably stab, slash, hack, ice pick them, stuff like that. That might actually be the case. I think that's usually kind of it. That's why, like, even like Alien, I kind of, for the most part, consider it kind of slasher-esque because I'm like, for the most part, everyone's just getting impaled by a tail, and I'm like, you replace the tail or a
With a
little
knife.
baby mouth, with a knife, and it's just it's the same deal. So why not consider it kind of lumped in? But that's kind of like one of those things where it becomes a multi-genre thing, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's multiple things. But I wouldn't discredit it from being a slasher just because it is also sci-fi.
See, at its core, I always attributed slasher flicks to, like, very much as grounded in reality as you can get. More like thriller style movies with serial killers is more what I always considered a slasher. Like, if you wanted to talk about a slasher TV show or like a slasher character, I'd talk about like Dexter and stuff like that, because I always thought the slasher to me just meant dude with a knife, like stalking and chasing everyone in the movie, and most of the time killing all of them. Like, most of the time, you don't get a lot of survivors, or you get one, and
You
they
get the
die
final
in the
girl.
post-credit scene. Yeah, they get pulled underwater by, like, the first Friday the 13th, I think, is the perfect example of it. Just being his mom.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, the whole time, just being his mom and stalking these children. And because she is not overpowering, she is not stronger than them. She is just crazy and pissed.
Yep.
And I think that I love the first Friday the 13th movie, specifically for subverting the expectation. Everyone who thinks about Friday the 13th these days thinks about Jason, thinks about the hockey mask.
Yeah.
And so many people don't know that the first video, it literally is not him until the credit
last
scene
at
at
the
the
end,
very
yeah.
end,
Yep.
when he jumps out as a child.
Yep. It's
I
literally
think that is
her
the
up until he
quintessential
gets
slasher.
it's him until he gets revenge essentially for his mom.
Yep, and then he starts
Her,
being like,
right.
you know what? Y'all killed my mom, now I'm gonna do it.
Yep.
That is my thought process on what a slasher is.
That's
Every
fair.
time I think about it, it's more like Scream. Nightmare on Elm Street, of course, Halloween, Friday the 13th, the classics, Chucky. I don't know if I'd consider Leprechaun a slasher, since it's more like supernatural and weird.
Yeah, I don't even fully remember that. I remember watching that basically as a fever dream.
I think it is a fever dream. I don't even know if it's real.
It's probably not. I mean, it's probably one of those things where it only exists as long as we acknowledge it, and the moment that we don't, it's going to disappear.
It just disappears and goes away forevermore, and we're like, okay, well, that was a...
What was the recent, I don't know if you've even seen it. It's a relatively recent slasher film. I think it's like maybe like 3, 4, or 5 years old, maybe at best. Might even be newer. But it was like it almost like at its core seemed like it was about to be another like Friday the 13th for a second. It was like dude is buried in the mountains or something, and people get a possession of his, and he wakes the fuck up to get it back. Like he like reanimates, and it's just brutal killing. The whole movie is just brutal killing. There's like no actual plot besides you took my shit and now I'm killing you.
No. I honestly think about 20 different films flashed in my brain. I can't remember the names of any of them.
Trying to remember. I think. Oh wait,
A recent one?
I found it. I found it while I was looking. It's called In a Violent Nature.
Yeah, I mean, that tracks for what you've described to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah.
But it seems...
it's very Friday the 13th esque because it's like homie just comes back with like a sole fucking purpose and starts killing anybody indiscriminately because it's like you're here. Is literally what it is. And I think if I remember correctly, the whole premise was just somebody took something from his corpse or of his possession, like a necklace, I think it was, and then he's just kind of like wakes the fuck up and is like, "Give me that back, give me the bag." And like, since he doesn't talk, he doesn't ask for it, so he just tries to take it, and it's like
he just kills everybody.
he kills everybody. And I remember like one of his main weapons was just like a hook with a chain, and so a lot of strangling, a lot of hooking into intestines and pulling, a lot of hooking it into someone's face or something and ripping their jaws off, like that kind of very visceral, bloody horror, which was actually a really satisfying film. And there's a very, very, very brutal kill. If I think I'm remembering that it's from this movie, where he basically inverts somebody with the hook. He like drags them back with the hook and like turns them into a pretzel, basically. And I'm like, God, ooh. It was very brutal to watch. And I was like, and I think that's like what most people like remember from it. Because I think even before I saw it, people were like, if you know the kill, you know the kill, or whatever. And they'd show like a screenshot of the girl. And I, of course, not having seen it yet, was like, I guess I need to watch this to know what the fuck this bait is.
I don't know what this is, but
yeah.
damn.
But damn. And then I saw it and I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty, yeah, that's not, everyone else kind of just dies from like getting cleaved or something. And then this one girl, I think it was the girl that got it, who just gets fucking inverted. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm sorry. I think she was probably dead about like 1/4 of the way through that process, but excess and all that. I know there's like kind of a little mini resurgence of the classic horrors that's kind of happening with stuff like that. And as much as we don't like it, Terrifier is kind of trying to emulate some of the energy.
Yeah, as you were talking about, like, oh, if you know the kill, you know the kill. I mean, thought of the Terrifier community with like, oh, the bedroom scene in the second one. Oh, the rats in the third one. I'm like, oh my god.
I've never been like, ironically, as we're sitting here discussing horror and discussing genres in horror, I've never really been the kind of person who, I guess like, rambles and like needs to be like in the know with people about specific scenes in horror. Like I don't go to people and seek them out and be like, what did you think about that scene? What do you think about that kill? What do you think about that? Like I'm not in that that ballpark of horror fan. I don't know. Like, of course, like if we're talking about like, I don't know, something hyper specific like Final Destination or something, it's like
I was literally
yeah, it's like it's kind of the only point of it is those like fantastical kills. It's the same with Saw. What lives rent free in your head is how these people die to traps. Like those are basically just snuff films that you're kind of just remembering the fucking the murders from. So that's like an exception.
I was just gonna ask about Final Destination. I was like, what did you think about when the glass pane smashed the kid down in Final Destination 2?
Yeah, flattened him like It's like that I get, because it's kind of the only talking point of it. Are you really going to talk about the elevated plot premise of Final Destination or Saw? No, not after like the first two movies
I was
of
about
Saw.
to say, if we're talking Saw, the first 2 or 3, maybe.
Yeah. But like after that point, it's like now it's just a glorified like let's watch people die to weird shit.
Pretty much.
But like other movies, like any of the quintessential slashers or any of the paranormal ones and stuff like that, I'm like, I'm never like, it's not like the kills live rent free in my head. It's usually like those are more of a whole product thing. I'm like, how was the action? How was the horror? How was the plot? How were the characters? How was, the ending and stuff like that? So like I don't usually see it like that. So whenever I see those posts and stuff that I just like, if you know about that kill, you know it's fucked, man. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. It kind of to some degree, it kind of feels a bit weird. It's like, are you just romanticizing that kill?
Yeah, no, it kind of just makes it like, for lack of a better word, it makes these people sound like they're watching torture porn.
Yeah,
at that point. Like, that's about it. It's just this like over the top, over aggressively. Oh my god, the grotesqueness of this kill, man. Oh.
Yeah, man, like
that's all it sounds like to me.
It's so good. I could be hyper fixating over K-pop right now, but instead I'm hyper fixating over this woman getting her eye sockets caved in. And it's like, yeah. It's like, my
It,
God.
it's so weird because, like you said, when I think about classic slashers or just slashers in general, I kind of feel like I haven't called a movie a slasher in a very long time. Specifically, I don't think the criteria has been met in a while for
Well,
something to be called a slasher for me.
that's fair. There were a couple, but I think my thing is I haven't found many that I've enjoyed. Like the one I mentioned, I'm already forgot its fucking name. In a Violent Nature, In a Violent Nature. That one
Hmm.
was a good one. I enjoyed that one. It was
Okay.
exactly what you'd want out of it. It's just a slasher film. It doesn't need to have an over the top plot. It doesn't need to have a whatever. The dude comes back from the life, says, "Give me my necklace back," and kills people who have it. So that's about it. It's
How do
pretty
you come
simple,
back from a
straightforward.
life?
Come back. Did I say come back from the life?
Yes.
You know what? I feel like I'm dead
I
most days, so
does is have to know what you're talking about here.
no. He's coming back from the life. He's coming back from the life. He's
Okay.
coming back from the life of being dead to
The
be
life of
alive,
being dead.
to making others dead so that they can live the life
Dead
of being
alive?
dead. Yeah.
Dead
Mhm.
alive.
Mhm.
Alive
Yep.
and dead. Got
Yep.
it.
He's
The
delivering
living
the
dead.
he's delivering the evil dead.
It all goes back to zombies.
It does. It does. Like there has been more modern slashers, but I just don't think that any of them have been as iconic. I think like even in saying I like In a Violent Nature, it's like that's not a household name. That's not anything that anybody really seems to know, and it's not
Very
like something that
wordy.
it's also yeah. It's not as easy as just saying
Very wordy
Scream.
for a
You know,
for a title of a horror movie. It's a very wordy.
it's very wordy and it's very like artsy, I guess, compared to
Yeah.
Texas
No, like
Chainsaw Massacre. You know, right? Like it's like
that's a good one. Hills
like
Have Eyes, stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah. But like that's had a recent one. Texas Chainsaw Massacre had a movie that came out in 2022. Um,
Hmm.
there was
Probably
like
one of the better. Probably one of the better like rehashes of a classic series, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah, definitely. There was what else came out in the past couple of years? Halloween Ends and Halloween Kills.
I
Um,
haven't watched. Those are the two newer ones where I'm came back, right?
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
it is.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
haven't watched those yet. I still need to. Were they good?
They were okay. I think the last one was kind of eye rolly because there was a lot of like stuff that happened just for the convenience of plot, and I was
I
really
was a
like,
little
okay,
burnt out from
yeah,
Rob Zombie. I'm not even gonna lie.
yeah. They're okay. They're okay. I just think
Okay.
they suffer from yeah the whole I think they just wanted to showcase their cameos too hard. I think that they
No,
kind of
that makes
stitched together
sense.
things a little bit too lazy, I
Kind of
guess.
like just playing the nostalgia, pretty much for like a
Yeah,
classic.
yeah,
Okay.
basically. There was recently the I say recently, I think it was like a whole ass like year ago. Um, but
That's still recent.
yeah. The continuation slash soft reboot slash whatever of The Strangers that came out too.
That's the one where they came to your house, right? The home invasion one
Yeah, they just
with like
mess
the
with
bags
you.
on their head. Like
Hmm.
that. The original one was so long. I didn't know they rehashed it.
Yeah, they're doing a trilogy now, so like a new trilogy. So they relaunched the first movie, and then they're trying to drive the plot from there because I don't think it really had like a persistent enough thing. It was just kind of like, oh, these people are kind of crazy and they're killing people. But now they're
Mm.
trying to go off of the idea of some kind of like religious cult is kind of doing this, I guess. And so you're following a character throughout all three movies as I guess she unravels it, like what's
Tries to
actually going on,
solve. Yeah. Okay.
tries to solve the
I might
phenomena,
have to
which
check that out.
I'm on one hand I'm like, okay, the strangers unnerves me just because of the creepy idea of like the home invasion and stuff like that, and that's kind of my ick. I'm like, "Ugh." But
Mhm.
like at the same time, I'm like, the true fear though of the strangers is that unknowing. It's the idea that these people are
Yeah.
just outside your house fucking with you. They cut your power. They come in. They tie you to a damn chair, and they're not really saying anything, and they're just kind of being there. And you're like, what the fuck do you want, man? Which is to me what makes that movie so scary. So I think as we go to chapter 2 and chapter 3, and now there's more
It's gonna
reasoning
kind
for
of
it.
lose it.
it's gonna lose it because you're gonna be like, oh, okay, it's just because you think that committing these murders is gonna revive your god or something. Like it's gonna become something like grounded in a way, and it's not gonna be as terrifying as it just being up in the air like that.
I think that happens quite a bit
Yeah.
with modern horror in general, because old school slashers and like some of the ones that are succeeding today, they don't overcomplicate things.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like I said, my feeling of a slasher is dude's crazy, he's got a knife, people are in killing vicinity. That is essentially what I think of when I think of a slasher. A very simple plot. And then all of a sudden people have these superpowers, or it's a cult, or there's some ritual sacrifice that needs to happen at the end of movie 29. I just keep it simple. A lot of the time, like overcomplicating things kills a franchise or kills any type of plot. Because then you have people coming in and being like, well, what the is going on?
Yeah.
And then you try to draw things back to like the original movies, which started off simple, and you're like, no, that really meant this and that really meant that, and you're like, shut up.
Please.
No,
stop.
it didn't.
This
no,
is
it
just
didn't. It's not
this
that
is
deep.
it's becoming a bit pretentious now.
It's not that deep. Like
No. And then
that's why.
and then you have like the contrast of recent horror where you have, blood and honey. And blood
Yes,
and honey
Winnie the
too.
Pooh.
Yes, I mean, there's a Pinocchio one too.
Yep. There's campy
Coming.
horror is just. I love it. I love campy, stupid, just the dumbest things happening, and people just like take these outlandish plots, or just something enters the public domain, and they're like, "Let's do it. It's time." And you're like,
time.
"Oh no."
I think
Oh, that one's bad. That one's ridiculous to me.
it is. I'm trying to think of like other recent ones. There was the whole like the movie franchise around Maxine, the X stuff. That was slashers too. I don't know if you've seen those.
I think I saw something about it and then said no.
Yeah, it's just
I think I literally saw something about it and was like, fuck off.
yeah, it's kind of just porn star becomes slasher lady basically, or whatever is basically the premise of it.
So they tried to remake Species?
I mean, I guess basically it's
Pretty much.
that
Pretty
came
much the
out.
plot.
I think I only watched 2 of them. I think I watched the first and the last one because I was just like, I don't have enough time to watch all or care rather to watch all 3 of these. But like I watched the first one already, and I'm like, I just want to know how this ends. So I was just like, so I just jumped to the actual last one and just kind of like read a synopsis on the second one to be like, yeah, okay, I get it. Because like
Valid.
my experience with it is that like in both of the ones that I saw, the plot isn't complicated. It's like you could probably sum up the plot in like a paragraph or 2. But like it's just drawn out, and so like it's drawn out, and then there's the kills in it. So like I don't really need to watch the second one to be like, yeah, I get what happens. I'm just missing out on the kills or the brutality of it from not watching it.
That's another thing. I actually, now that you mention it, if you go back to like the older slasher flicks, like the original Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, they're like 80 minutes long. They're short. They are not
That's true.
long run times compared to any of the movies these days. Like most of the movies now are almost 2 hours long.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like everything is extremely drawn out.
Yeah, that's true.
But what that does is like you said, you have a lot of padding. You have a lot of just like kind of dragging the plot out instead of just constant action or constant tension or constant stress. There's a lot of like dull moments that just do not keep you engrossed in it as much. And I think that honestly kind of cuts out a lot of the tension that most slasher flicks have.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. What?
I never actually thought about that. Like the length of movies is always important to telling your story.
Yeah.
And when you have like a very complicated plot or like a bunch of different characters having like story arcs, a long runtime makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But with horror, you don't really have that. You don't really need that. You just need to tell a quick little, like, hey, scary, death, ghost, knife. Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I kind of enjoy it's not slasher, so it's a little off topic, but I really enjoy the most recent Evil Dead movie.
Oh yeah.
Because it's literally just like teenager finds book they shouldn't fucking have. It then horror starts and people start fucking dying. What's the greater plot? There is none. Book evil, people getting possessed, people dying and getting possessed. Movie end.
Yep.
It's like
Exactly.
that's it.
I didn't have to follow like 20 other books, read like a synopsis on 5 other movies, and try and find the director's maiden name. I got it in like right away.
Yep, they gave just enough for you to kind of get the personas of every character present, their relationships to each other, and then they just said, now there's the demon zombies that killing people now. Have fun.
Yep.
So that's all it needed to do. I do think there's some value in films too expanding on it, but only if it's something that's going to actually drive the plot. I feel like a lot of films, even slasher films, like a lot more like slashers and paranormal films, I think both are victims to this a lot, of like needlessly expanding on characters that you're just gonna like kill off without you having any emotional like investment in. It's different if the whole driving force is like me and my lover are being hunted down by something, and the importance of the entire movie is our relationship for navigating, surviving the situation. And so when something happens, we need you to know how solid our relationship is for it to justify certain things and the trust that we have for each other. It's another thing when it's just like, hey, there's 6 campers here, and you need to know that one of them has a mom that died, a dad that's battling cancer, 3 dogs that ate each other, and she's best friends with a character that's not even going to be in the fucking movie for more than 3 minutes. That's just one character. So on to the other 5, and it's like I don't need to know any of that personally.
I don't need a 40-minute intro for my hour and 20-minute video movie.
Yeah,
okay?
that's actually something I've seen a lot in all horror recently. Has been a lot of like the horror is the last 20 minutes. Like there's been a lot of movies I've watched recently where I'm basically watching a drama for like 60 minutes, 60, 70 minutes, and then they're just like, oh yeah, by the way, horror movie.
Scary.
By the way, scary.
I think that's why I've gravitated more towards horror games as opposed to horror movies these days, is because a lot of horror games are like an hour to 2 hours long, if that. And like you're playing the whole thing, it's tense the whole way through, and then you're done.
True.
I don't need no stupid, like, I love when a story is spun out, like I just did Who's at the Door, and I actually loved how they told the story in that.
Yeah.
Like the little twist at the end, everything that was going on, that was well done. I finished it in an hour, and that was perfect.
Yeah.
It was a good game.
You got the
Good
point
experience.
across. You got the gameplay that was driven by the narrative. You got the cutscenes to piece in the lore, and it made all of the mechanics make a little bit more sense in the clarity of it all to to end in an hour.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it these days is directors or producers or story writers feel like their hand half the time. Like you can't put clues together from something in the background or something that is mentioned in passing, or like actually piece the story together yourself. They need to put every story beat in big bold letters and take 10 minutes explaining every part.
Yeah.
And it kills it half the time for me because, like you said, oh, by the way, did you remember this is a horror movie? Credits.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you for my 5 minutes of horror in my 2 hour watch. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Kind of in the realm of like, again, this kind of I don't know where like I don't know where like like monster-driven slashers really fall in the idea. But if we follow my Alien philosophy, a recent slasher film as well that is like paranormal, fucking Sinners. I don't know if you've seen Sinners.
I've seen Sinners, so I feel like we should kind of lump two genres of horror together. I feel like it should be slasher stalker
Slasher what?
because
You cut out there.
slasher and stalker,
Oh, okay.
because those two types of movies have a lot in common, and usually a slasher involves a stalker.
True.
And if you're
Sure.
talking about like Alien and monsters, majority of the time it's revealed to be like a stalker-esque character killing everyone, like Alien, Predator, stuff like that. So you can kind of put those two together in that category.
Mm-hmm.
Where I feel like the slasher genre, that might actually be it. Maybe the slasher genre kind of gave way to more of a stalker-based approach to how monsters were driven.
Yeah, I mean,
Because a lot of what you would see in like any type of stalker-based entity, you can drive back to Michael Myers. You could drive back to Jason easily.
mm-hmm. That's true. I mean, yeah, Alien works with that. I mean, even Sinners kinda. I mean, the whole movie is just them being watched by the fucking vampires the entire fucking time. Until they're slowly whittled off in one particular night. But that movie, the reason why I brought it up is because, like, although I love it, and a majority of the purpose of that movie is to talk about like racial tensions and things like that. So like narratively, the importance of it extending the plot, of course, is important to get that message across, talking about the difference of racial tensions, the difference of classes, the difference of things like that, while being within a specific timepiece, and then also being like, by the way, there's vampires. But like that's obviously important for that, but at the same time, to bring that earlier point forward, that movie again is literally like 60-70 minutes of people just talking and hanging out and planning a party and doing whatever, and then it's like, all right, here's 20-25 minutes of vampire slasher film, and then it's over. And it's like,
Isn't it like 2 something hours long?
yeah. Yeah.
Like, isn't it? I'm about to say that movie's long.
That movie's long, and there's vampires in it for like a maximum of like 30 minutes of the entire movie. Well, at least visually are vampires. Like obviously they're in there, but you don't know they are until they are. But like, it's like, yeah, for the majority of the fucking movie, it's just people bantering in a timepiece and showing the social status of different things going on in that moment. But then it's like, okay, at the climax of it, now it's like, okay, vampires. Remember, guys? You guys signed up to you bought a ticket for a vampire movie, right? And then it becomes suddenly, okay, now we're being stalked by the vampires and hunted, and oh god, they're with us, and oh my god, and then it becomes kind of that. But like that's kind of like the point, though, is like that's how a lot of horror movies are now. Like Sinners, it works because it's a talk base. It's not meant to just be a horror movie. It's meant to be an actual social commentary, and a historical kind of reference point. But a lot of movies don't have that tie-in and don't have that higher meaning and higher things, but they still try to do that. Where they're like, yeah, we're going to sit you down for 2 hours, but you're only going to see the monster for 20 minutes. And we're not going to even have them stalk you or do freaky stuff in the meantime. It's going to be like, I don't remember what movie it was, but I saw a ghost movie recently that was literally just like, it was basically that. It was 2 hours, and the most the ghost did before was like do the little like door opens slightly, thing falls off of something, but like nothing really happens, and they're just like, I think my house is haunted. And then by the very end of it, in the last 20 minutes, is when people start getting dragged and thrown, and you see the spirit and like all that kind of stuff. But then it felt like a speed run to the end, because of course in those 20 minutes, it's not just the thing that's threatening the people, it's also them resolving it, them recovering from it, and them yapping about what they need to do. And so like there's a point that I feel like people are being hindered when they're making movies nowadays, because they're comparing the relative length of televised like shows and stuff like that, because now shows are an hour long on average rather than just 30 minutes. So you can't just do an hour and 20-minute movie, because that's just 20 minutes more than an episode.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's too short. There's people could go watch a whole horror series right now, and that would equate to more time runtime than our movie. It's going to be, 6 hours of footage, and we're doing an hour and 20 minutes. It's barely, more than an episode. So I think like people are feeling pressure to that, but I don't think they need to actually adhere to that fear. Because I feel like the longer you drag things on without having some kind of greater narrative to drive, the more you either lose the plot, or it just derails into long drawn out like murder scenes that don't need to happen.
Yeah. That's what I like. As we've had this conversation, as we talked about this tonight, I feel like I've come to the conclusion that there's one of two things. It's either just like, hey, let's get the most ludicrous kills we can with like no plot and keep it very simple of just like kill everything like Terrifier.
Yeah.
Or it is the most overcomplicated hand-holding story with no necessity to it, very little horror, and no build-up. That's the other thing. A lot of time when games, when movies are very long and they're a horror film that's going to just constantly tell you the story, there's no build-up.
Yeah.
Like, there's no actual tense build-up. It's like people relaxing, people just talking, having like dinner or whatever, and then all of a sudden there's a dead body.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I want to know why that happened. I don't care about everything else. Like, if you want to give me a story that's beautifully written, like Sinners, and do it like that, that's fine. If you want to have something that really feels like there's meaning to it, that's fine. I love that. I love a good, solid story. I love things being written, but I also like environmental story. I love a Soul series. Come on. Show me something in the background that pertains to everything that's going on. Hint at that, have someone knock it over, have someone mention it in passing, and let me piece together what's going on. You don't need to just say everything. You can have a few things happen, a few things be revealed, and then go into some of the scares. You can cut the tension halfway through and dull it back down to give a false sense of security, then ramp it back up. That's a good flow. But I feel like now it's either just like kill everything in the most brutal way we can think of so that everyone is fantasizing about what they just saw.
Yeah.
Or, we have an hour and a half of, hey, how was your day? How's your family doing? How's your dogs?
How's that one great aunt of yours? It's like, oh, okay.
And then you get 20 minutes of, there's dead people, by the way. Like, oh, this is a horror movie? I forgot.
Yeah,
I thought I was watching Lifetime.
There's a lack of nuance, I think, nowadays to a lot of narrative storytelling with a lot of things. I think games have been picking it up more, but movies have definitely not as much. They've been very on the nose and feeling like they need to like hold your hand and be like, so this person killed this person, and now they're a revenant, and now they're killing everyone else because they're related to that person. You understand?
It just sounds like an episode of Supernatural, man.
Yeah. It really does. Like, there's a way that you could do that exact plot, but make it more interesting without having to be like 57 flashbacks or like too much exposition vomit, where it's like,
you don't need to give it the One Piece pacing.
Yeah, you don't need
your horror movie to be paced like One Piece.
You don't need the One Piece pacing, and you don't need the moment where you find one old man who sits down with the protagonist, talks for 20 minutes, and then proceeds to immediately die to the thing that he's talking about. We don't need that expedition moment, and then the guy's like, oh my god, and then they run, and they're like, then now they have a cognitive ability to understand what's going on. Like, you can have like, I don't know, like making it off the top of my head, it's like, okay, there's a ghost that's hunting down a family. Why is the ghost hunting down the family? All right, well, you go through the family house at one point, and there is a gun on the wall that has a bayonet on it, and then someone goes and points out, that was my dad's gun when he was in the war. And you go, that's cool. Movie keeps going. Shit starts happening. You get up to the point where people start dying. And you're like, oh, yeah, so there's this ghost that was, betrayed by his fellow soldier and blah, 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 blah. Who stabbed to death. And then you're like, oh, wait a minute. There was a bayonet at the beginning of the fucking movie. wait, are you implying that the father killed his friend? Like, what? And then they don't have to do a flashback. They don't have to go on like show the montage of their friendship, them making out on the fucking tents, and then him stabbing him to death because the rest of the soldiers are gonna find out they had a relationship, and he's just like, die. Like, we don't need to go on this weird montage. I can piece together. Okay, you bothered to mention a mounted object in the background of a scene, glazed over it, and now you're telling me that soldier died from being stabbed. But it's like, all right, I get it. Like, there's no level of nuance of that anymore. It's like, yeah, we're gonna spend like 30 minutes in flashbacks, 25 minutes in exposition, and then 25 minutes in you trying to understand and like these characters that we're gonna kill off in the last 20 minutes.
Like, oh, I just heard it's your birthday and everything's all good in your life and you're going to college and you're dead now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I've known you for 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I kind of miss the old trope of starting off at a campfire and telling a scary story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then having that story be the one that plays out.
Yeah. That was definitely a solid trope for sure. Not needing to do a lot of extra steps. I think that always bothered me with having like exposition characters and things too, is I'm just like, there just happens to be somebody who's alive and around who knows the situation like in great detail, and I'm like, really? I'm like, I don't know, man. It's so much cooler to have the environmental and people piecing it together, but then again, people usually write horror protagonists as being complete idiots. So them figuring it out probably isn't gonna happen.
Them actually having the brain cell to, maybe look up a newspaper article, go on Google, and be like, what happened in this house? Like, their listings, there's news stories. You can find it very easily. Just like, I'm just back in my head. It just sounds like an episode of Supernatural. Just have them go and look up what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, the freaking Sam and Dean use the internet all the time just to find shit. They go to public libraries to find books and stuff, They do that, and it's just like, I don't understand why a lot of protagonists and things can't just be like 2% smarter, just 2%. Have a little bit of self-preservation and have the ability to actually like analyze a situation rather than just being like full on emotional, I guess, at all times. Or irrational. I love irrational. I love when people also just see like a big hulking, fucking Jason Voorhees or something, and they're like, I'm gonna hit him. And I'm just like, I'm not, no. It's like, absolutely do not fucking do that. Like, and then they just go and hit it, and then they of course, killer doesn't move, and then they're just like, oh, well, fuck, and then they die. It's just like, okay.
I mean, what would the alternative be these days? Like, we have a slasher, and then big guy standing in the doorway. Main character comes around the corner and just looks at them as wood.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's how it would go nowadays. It would just become a porno, like slasher film. That's why we don't see slashers anymore. We're not looking in the right place.
Wrong
we
site.
need to, we need to go to specific sites with adult viewings. And we might find the slasher things. You know what? To be fair, with the amount of friends I have that have the hots specifically for Ghostface.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
the DVD community, you need to calm down.
I scroll through my TikTok, and since I have a bunch of horror related stuff that comes up, occasionally I'll get Ghostface thirst traps come up. So like, I know that it's a thing. I'll see a nice big muscly man grip the camera like he's trying to pelvic thrust directly into it, wearing a Ghostface mask, and I'm just like, this is where the slasher films are. This is where they went. Yep. They're on TikTok and on explicit websites. That's what they all went.
Other specific things.
Yep.
Find Ghostface now on OnlyFans. Jason had to move.
I mean, that's why there's no modern slashers, man. If the killer's like, I really want the thrill of fear and death, and then they go and try to kill somebody, and they're just like, Daddy, and then they're just kind of like, and then it's like, you just go limp dick. Then you're just like, I don't want to kill you anymore. You want this?
I feel like there are two that would still kill you, and it would be Chucky and Freddy.
Yeah.
They would still kill you.
Yeah.
They would probably enjoy it more.
Yeah. They'd be like, "All right, you into this? I'm into this." Oh my god. I mean, at least with the Freddy thing, I mean, he could just make nightmares that'll make it more interesting for him and be like, all right, well, you into this? Well, are you into this? And then freak him out with something else.
They'll
But
find their limits. Oh,
yeah.
some of the people, Freddy would have a time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It would very much quickly become torture porn. It would very much become that. But like, yeah, there hasn't been too many slashers in general, I guess, because like, even like right now I pulled up a slasher list of everything that came out in the 2020s, and it's like I can scroll through it in less than a second. There has not been many,
Really?
and most of them I don't actually know because they're like either they're a short film or they're an indie film that didn't make it into theaters and they were just at film festivals, or they're in languages that I don't speak.
That's kind of sad. That is genuinely, it's we made this episode because we both like the slasher genre, what it did for the horror like genre overall.
Right.
But it's kind of like actually realizing that it's kind of a dying genre.
It is.
And that's really, really sad because that was like the quintessential horror growing up.
Yeah.
Like there was what? There was Poltergeist, there was Exorcist,
Amityville.
and then Amityville. There was Freddy, Jason, Myers,
Bubba.
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 Bubba, no.
Bubba, no. You never forget Texas Chainsaw
Bubba.
because that first one's so good.
Yeah, no, the first Texas Chainsaw was great. And like you had all of those. And like that was what horror was when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And now to kind of see it completely go more the route of a Poltergeist, but not so much. Because I feel like Poltergeist still had a lot more to it than a lot of recent like haunted house movies have.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's definitely had its falling off, and I do think it's because of like, I think it's mostly just from the narrative point. I think a lot of people are like, it's like you either go two ways. You go, one, I'm gonna make a just montage of death, and that's what the whole point of the movie is, and you're gonna watch Terrifier for that exact reason, or Saw, or you're gonna have a greater narrative, but I feel like probably writers are struggling to figure out how to make that interesting when there's so many slasher films, big and small, over the course of 40 years, that they don't know what to do with it, and you can't just cop it out by making it unique. It's so much easier to have something like inexplicable and then make that the point of the movie of trying to explain the inexplicable, but trying to make a compelling a plot and pacing it the way that makes it believable but good is a very big thing within the slasher films. I think people just don't know what to do with it. There's been obviously some experimentation with it. Like I know there was like the recent one I haven't seen yet. It was like Heart Eyes, I know, came out or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Which I didn't really watch that one, but it's on my list to watch. I know that there was another orphan movie that came out like 3 years ago. Two Scream movies came out. Three Scream movies actually.
I've kept up with the Scream movies, and I'm very surprised to say I'm like never disappointed with them. I think that they do the meta fiction of like a horror movie very well. They always have. I think Scream 2 is my favorite one, like hands down. I think the second one's my favorite. But I don't think Scream has ever disappointed because they lean in to how predictable they are, or how stupid it is, and they pretty much tell you the plot. And I appreciate that they went all in.
Yeah,
they went all in with it, and they found their own way of doing it. One movie that came into mind as you were talking about like the different way people like try to write things and write themselves into a corner. This isn't so much a horror movie. When it comes to my mind. But there is a good slasher film in there when you think about the characters. It's Tucker and Dale versus the forces of evil.
Okay.
And if you actually think about, Tucker and Dale, they're going up to the cabin they just got. They have a good time and just relax. And then these teenagers just start dying on their property. And then you have the one in there who's just a psychopath because of what happened to his dad before he was born in this area, and he wants to kill everybody. And just has this blood, and he just turns into, there is actually a slasher flick here with this one character. But it was done in a way that, like, it's such a campy film. It's an old one. It's a funny one. I still think it's one of my favorites if I want something stupid. But thinking about how that has done, like, a really solid, like, slasher piece, I think, in it.
That's fair.
Just with how they wrote that one character.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that. It's, like you mentioning, I don't know, like, old films made me think of an old film that also got a new film relatively recently. And I say relatively recently, like, it couldn't have totally been, like, 2018 or something, which I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to cross-reference when the remake came out. When did it come out? Oh, it was 2021. Okay.
Oh my God, we're doing research. It's
I
not
know.
allowed in the horror genre.
I know, right? No, I have an internet browser up this whole entire time. The same with last stream too. I'm cross-referencing the things that I'm thinking and not letting myself sit here and be like, what is the thing that I was talking about or thinking about? And then I just, so I'm just looking it up while I'm actually yapping. Fucking Candyman.
Candyman, yeah. How was the remake? I was worried.
It was pretty good. It wasn't like, oh yes, that's gonna, like, the movie's gonna live rent free in my head. Good, but I think it was pretty good. I enjoyed watching it. It felt like a Candyman movie. I mean, that's all I can really ask for. It combined, two kind of premises with, having, like, the original plot and then having it, brought to the modern day. I feel like to the best that they probably really could have, given the subject matter, but it was a fun one. I kind of actually forgot that it existed until this conversation of old movies, because then I thought about, what was that other, like, slasher film that I'm thinking of, and then I started thinking of, like, In a Violent Nature again, which made me think of this Hook, and then I was like, wait a minute, Hook Killer. Candyman, and that had a 2021 thing. Yes, I remember. It was like playing, like, charades with myself. It was like, that thing, yes, that.
Hook. The hook on the car handle.
But, like, yeah, like I was saying though, like, there's not many horror, like, slasher films. Like, it's just, have you watched a movie called Abigail? And we're not talking about the vampire one.
I know the Motionless in White song.
Nope. See, exactly. And then it's like, do you know The Mean One, or Mr. Crockett, or okay, that's one of those meme ones with Mickey Mouse. Or Bitch Ass.
Wait. We're not talking about me here, okay?
Yeah, well, you know what? Maybe we are. The tangent into that conversation. This is what we're talking about now. Like, Bloodline Killer, Bring It On, Cheer or Die.
What?
A bunch of the just, like, the now copyright free stuff. Winnie the Pooh, Popeye, Pinocchio, fucking Mickey Mouse stuff.
We do have one champ returning here soon. We have a new I Know What You Did Last Summer coming out.
It's already out.
It's already out. I need to go watch that because that is one of my favorite. I love those movies. And I haven't heard anything bad about this one, considering it is a continuation with a lot of the characters from the last one. So I guess that is like a new slasher film that's out.
Yeah, that came out early, a couple months ago, I think. And I think when Mark and Allie visited, we were like, almost gonna go watch it because it was in the end swing of it being in theaters at the time,
Oh,
and then we
yeah.
ended up not going to see it because it was between that or watching the latest Superman, and then we were like, eh. And then we didn't end up actually going out to the movies, but yeah, that was something on there. I was like, oh my god, I know this franchise. I know what you did last summer. And it seemed like it was doing kind of okay in box office. I mean, like, looking at it right now, $18 million budget, which is actually relatively low budget.
I was about to say that's not that big for movies these days.
Yeah, and it got, 64 mil in box office. So, I mean, it did pretty okay net return.
Yeah, net returns about like 3 times the amount.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
3 or 4. I'm more closer to 4 or 5. Damn, yeah, that's good.
That's pretty good for a revitalization of a franchise that I definitely have not thought of in a very long time.
What is the last installation of that? That's from like over a decade ago.
There was a movie, I think, in 2021.
In 2021? I thought it. Which one came out in 2021?
Let me see. In July 2019, Amazon Studios acquired the rights to develop a television series adaptation of the franchise, blah, 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 blah. Pilot episode, blah, 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 blah. It premiered on October 15th, 2021. It was a television series.
I don't care about TV series.
And
what was the last movie?
The last movie was 2006.
I was about to say 19 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a very long time ago. Very long time ago.
Because it was I Still Know What You Did last summer, right? Because 2 or 3.
Yes, it was. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and I'll always know what you did last summer. Yeah.
Not creepy at all.
No, yeah, it just increasingly gets creepier as it continues to go on.
Talk about a stalker. Damn.
Yeah, like he's just Also, another instance of a killer with a hook.
Yep.
You know, it doesn't have to. Doesn't just have to be knives. Oh my god, he's literally. The killer's literally kind of got the energy of our previous mention of Candyman. Oh my god, hook and oversized coat, yes.
Yep. It all comes back. It's all full circle.
It's all full circle.
This is exactly why, like, when people are just like, I need an original idea. No, you don't. Just make something. Just make something stupid.
Yeah.
If you want to make your own, because here's the thing, you can do a concept that other people have done your own way, and it'll be a different film. It'll have a lot of pieces of something else, but it'll be your story to tell. So if you want to do a bunch of idiot high schoolers decide to go to a haunted camp where a serial killer did a bunch of things and they all die, who cares if everyone else has done it?
Yeah.
Like, just make it. You don't need to have this, I need to make this deep story and lore. And you guys need to know about that rock right there. That rock over there. You don't know what's going on. Like, just give me, I got a knife. Killing vicinity. Are they dead?
You're in my proximity, and therefore you stop being in my proximity.
I will remove you by force.
By force. It's going down this list of horror movies. I actually found one that I'm kind of like, ooh, I might actually like take a peek at. It's called Venice Farina. It's a Spanish film. Which is essentially, the plot is very simple apparently. A group of young Spanish tourists travel to Venice in order to have a good time. Even though their inhabitants are not in a welcoming mood for tourists, once there they face the prospect of struggling to stay alive. And the thing that caught my attention was that all of the killers in it are wearing like jester-like attire. One of them looks kind of like a plague doctor, and he's got like a long like cane saber and stuff like that. And so you just have these kind of just like old-timey looking individuals killing a bunch of tourists.
Which reminds me of Hostel.
Yeah, it definitely, yeah, that definitely reminiscent of that.
But that's just it. Like they're telling their own version of a story. Just do that,
Yeah, yeah.
and it'll be good. It'll be cool. It'll strike someone's fancy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want no deep story.
There's also like a lot of merit to, uh, like I guess taking heavy inspiration, but then going like a full fucking like left turn, with it.
Mhm.
A good example of this, is something that bended across like genres. Um, and that's fucking the movie Jacob's Ladder inspiring Silent Hill.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like you have this weird psychological death throw nightmare turning into one of the most quintessential horror franchises in existence. Um, and it's like they both follow a kind of similar concept to the baseline, but one goes so much further with it, so much further with it, and into multiple installations. Um, like there's no shame in rehashing ideas or expanding upon ideas. And honestly, there's only so many ideas that you can have without stepping on somebody's toes. It comes down to like almost anything. You designing characters and artwork, designing movie things, designing games. Eventually, there's gonna come a point when you're stepping on somebody's toes creatively. If you're really that nitpicky, there's gonna be something. It's like, oh, that character kind of looks like this character. Oh, the plot is kind of like this movie. Oh, the dialogue up that quip is said like a million times in a bunch of other movies. Like it's like you just need to like really just express that kind of creative thing, even if it does kind of tread into some kind of territory that is relatively familiar. But I think that's kind of what's like, for better lack of a word, poisoning the process of developing a lot more like slasher films, or at least a lot more original slasher films. Because like I'm not gonna count half these fucking movies that are popping up in this list that are like, Winnie the Pooh and shit. Like, yeah, they're funny, they're campy, they're whatever. But I'm not gonna sit here and be like, these are like iconic. They're ever gonna be iconic horror movies, right? And the rest of these are a lot of short films, indie films, things that didn't actually make it into the mainstream. And then the remainder of them is maybe 2 or 3 original ones that are pretty cool, and the rest are continued remakes of things that have existed now for 30, 40 years. And so it's like there hasn't really been much of any type of popular resurgence of really anything that isn't already established. Like, yeah, we could mention that, yeah, Scream's on this list. Yeah, we could mention that Texas Chainsaw Massacre is on this list of movies that come out in the last 5 years. But like, those are movies that have their own following already and have had following through multiple generations. Like, they're not like something that's spiking up now and everyone's talking about it. Like, but if you want me to talk about what's popular now, I could bring up a list of supernatural movies. So, it's like that's kind of the thing, or at least supernaturally adjacent movies.
Yep. I think the one thing that I see just in creative spaces these days, like VTubing, YouTube, Twitch, pretty much anything, making movies, making cartoons, writing stories. A lot of people seem scared to come up with an idea that is loosely based off of something these days.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like they need to have their own idea from the ground up. And that's great. If you really want to like base yourself on something from the ground up, perfect. But at halfway through writing it, you're gonna find reference to something that inspired it.
Yeah.
Because you end up making something because something got into your head to make it.
Yeah.
So a good example of a franchise, like older franchise, of course, that kind of took inspiration and went to a different setting and told their own version of it. Let's take The Hills Have Eyes, and let's take Wrong Turn.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, almost the exact same kind of premise.
Yeah.
Just one's in the desert, one's in the forest. And they're completely standalone. And one of them is a lot worse than the other.
Yes. And they're both mutants cannibalizing people. That's about it.
Yeah, but they both stand on their own merits, and they literally have people being like, Hills Have Eyes is better, Wrong Turn is better, and stuff like that. So, but one was definitely influenced by the other.
Right.
Like, it's very obvious but that's okay. If something like spoke to you to do something because you like that thing and you want it to exist, just do it. How many teens have died camping? In how many movies?
Enough.
We can have a tally. I think the tally would fill up the screen, and neither of us would be here right now if that was the case.
Yep.
Writing original pieces is only going to get you so far because so many plots have already been done. So instead of being afraid that you're doing something similar to how someone else is doing, just tell it in your own way.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the main thing.
I mean, like, literally, quite literally, admittedly, yeah, Friday the 13th was inspired by Halloween. Like, that legit is literally, like, what it is. They're both very similar premises, and you can even, like, boil it down to masked, big boy killer going around stabbing people with big knife.
Big boy killer.
Masked big boy killer going around
One
stabbing
of them has
people.
a bigger knife.
One of them is being manipulated by evil, and one of them just is evil incarnate, apparently.
And that's the whole thing, is I want to see, like, I'm fine if people tell the same story in a different way. Because that's all we've been doing with almost a lot of movies that have come out. Look at every single police movie, every single possession movie, every single, like, vampire movie, like,
every
so
single rom-com.
They've redone the same thing, the same beats, the same outline, everything in their own way. That's why genres exist. It's because they have tropes to them. They have things that happen in them, and it is okay to lean into them like Scream does. Like, leaning into it to make it part of your movie. And it really is hitting me. It really is hitting me during this conversation that such a good genre of film that pretty much transformed and brought, like, the horror media forward. Because a lot of times when people, like, when I was a kid growing up, when it was Halloween time, we sat down and we watched Friday the 13th. We watched every single movie that was out.
Right.
We watched all the Halloween films. Like, that's what horror was. And now it's like kind of just like crushed.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's specifically because people are afraid to rehash or tell a similar story.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an unfortunate reality for sure. It's ironic because at the same time as people try to do a lot of unique things, they end up still doing it anyways. But to a lesser extent because they try to do everything to, like, to dodge the other things in their genre and in their niche, that they end up making such an incoherent and incomprehensible, like, plot that it's just kind of like, if you would have just acknowledged that, yeah, this is going to be similar to something else and sold it with your own energy there, you know, it would have been fine. But it's the fact that you're like, oh, that's kind of Halloween. Oh, that's kind of whatever this. Oh, that's kind of this. And you just keep dodging left and right as you get through the narrative of your game or movie or whatever. It ends up being very, like, lazy. It's like, I don't know. It's just commit to the bit and execute it well. I mean, that's really just kind of how it comes down to. Make your own characters, make your own threat, make your own, narrative behind it. But, it's fine if it touches, like, a similar grounds as something else. It's not like, it's not that horrible. Like, I say that on the one hand, as someone who wants to see that, but I also can get why the fear is there too, because we've also become a culture of comparisons a lot. Like, everything now is compared. There is nothing free of comparisons, even if they shouldn't be compared. Like, literally just today, earlier today, or I guess it's past midnight now, so yesterday, whatever. Time zones. But, like, I was watching someone stream Warframe, and people were talking. The streamer was playing a specific Warframe, and everyone was going, "Yeah, the character's so sick, whatever, blah blah blah. It's so they're so cool or whatever." And then you had the one contrarian that had to pop in and be like, "Well, I mean, yeah, I guess, but they're not as good as XYZ." And it's just like, it's like, no one's talking about XYZ, man. Like, it's like that's kind of just how everything is now. So I can kind of get the fear that a lot of like directors and stuff like that and writers and stuff might have with these media because yeah, I mean, even if you try to make it your own, you're always going to become like down to the criticisms of comparisons because that's kind of just as a culture what we've devolved to is everything has to be compared and everything needs to be greater or lesser than something else.
It can't
But
just stand on its own merits anymore.
no, nothing.
Like
Can.
I don't feel
Absolutely
like
not.
anything can.
Mhm.
Like every single, like especially in our space, you know, the VTuber space, stuff like that. You meet someone who's like has this really cool design, and you'll be talking to them and like, oh my god, you look in person. And you're just like, who?
Yeah.
And they don't even know who it is, but because they chose like a hairstyle, similar color style, they're being compared to them immediately. Or like, oh my god, your mannerisms. Like I get a lot, and I don't know why. And it was just like, you sound like American Jacksepticeye, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just it's the comparison culture. I mean, even I have a friend. Her character is like an elf, got like big long ears, got like white hair, got all these like
Oh, I already see where this is
tattoos on their
going.
face, you know, and shit. And then people were like, "You're like Shy Lily. Where do you is Shy Lily in the room with us?" I'm like, "You're telling me the orca, right? Tell me that is an elf."
I thought you were gonna go Ciaran, but okay.
No. This is an actual VTuber that is just like a white-haired elf that has a bunch of like Norse inspired markings on their character,
Oh
and
my
someone said they look
gosh.
like Shy Lily, and I was like, do they? I had to like squint. I had to pull up like 3 different images of both of them. I was like sitting there like trying to
Dude.
like obviously for me, I know that's not the case, but I was like, I'm trying to like find where in
just-
any reality this is true, and I'm like, I couldn't, and I'm just like. I feel like I don't even know if the person genuinely believes that or if they're just trying to rage bait. I don't know. Like,
I
I'm
just
like,
picture you in front of the That's Always Sunny meme
yeah,
with the freaking
Charlie's
board behind
fucking
you.
bored. Just yeah.
Just like behind you, like
It's insane. It's so insane. It's like I'm just like, what the fuck? And like, it's like I've seen people who uh, like look completely different. They're like, you look kind of like Shoto, and I'm just like, they don't at all. I'm like, and I'm like, and also, to be fair, looking like Shoto is not hard. Homie is literally pretty basic. Like he's just literally has black, you know, like black hair and like a single tone eyes. What's unique about his design is his outfit, but like his character itself is just kind of like normal anime dude, right? So it's like it's not hard to do that. So like anytime somebody like gets close to that or whatever, it's like they just attack them, and I'm just like what is this? Like it's such a like a comparison culture, and then gatekeeping because of that comparison.
Oh
And that's
yeah.
across all media. That's across all forms of everything. Everybody knows what's right and what's wrong, and you're not allowed to like anything else. And if something is, in my belief, better than that other thing, I'm right, you're wrong. Fuck you. And it's just like it's just how it is. So like I can definitely get why people would be very scared to touch certain genres of media because of that, because like it's gonna happen. But at the same time, it's gonna fucking happen either way. It's gonna
no
happen
matter what,
either
like,
way.
You're gonna write if you genuinely are influenced by Jason Myers and a bunch of classic slashers. If you try to write an original piece, you're going to emulate your
Yeah.
inspiration.
Yeah.
Like that's what's going to happen. Like you are going to emulate the inspirations behind what you think your story needs to have in it. Behind what made you want to make this, those inspirations are always going to no matter how hard you try to hide them or fight against them, because that's what you want to see made. You want to
Right.
tell your version of it. It is okay to be inspired by things.
Yeah. It's insane. Like I don't get it. Like it's just such an aversion to it. It's such an aversion, and it gets even worse now with like the presence of like AI too. That's making it worse as well, unfortunately. But
Oh yeah, that's another conversation for.
that is a whole. Let's talk about AI related horror stuff after. You know, that's a whole episode in its own right. The amount of AI generated horror slop I've seen on like TikTok, man.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that Steam has like down in the description this
The
AI
requirements.
disclosure,
Yeah.
like if like AI disclosure, the moment I see that, I don't care how good the game or how many people are playing it, I will not play.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like I'm not gonna. Nope. I don't care. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Just so you know where I stand on this. No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah, that is perfectly fair and valid. Like, it's such a mess, and I hope that there is like a nice proper resurgence in like slasher films and stuff like that. Now, I will say, to be fair, slashers are not by any means my favorite genre of horror. So I'm not like, oh my god, I'm gonna be so bent out of shape if they never have a proper resurgence. But it
Oh
is
yeah.
disappointing to see a genre of something that you enjoy to vanish. Like that's more so what it is. Like it's such an iconic thing. Like yeah, you can ask somebody what their favorite horror movie is, and they might throw a curveball at you and be like, oh, it's World War Z or something, right? But like when you think of like when you think of like classic or established horror and you ask somebody about it, they're always going to come back to those OG slasher films. Those are the ones that they're going to mention. And if they don't mention one of those, then yeah, you might get one of the adjacent ones like Alien or Predator or something like that. But like, it's like, you know, it's the slashers just kind of exist at the forefront of a lot of it. And even, I mean, even inspired the advancement of paranormal movies and stuff like that. So, it would be very disappointing to kind of just see it continue in this downward trend, and all we get is half-baked remakes and just public domain slasher films.
100% on that. Like it's crazy because you know everything kind of ebbs and flows. You have like a lot of things that die out of popularity and then like jump back up. Like they just announced that a new Halloween game made by the same guys who made the Friday the 13th.
Yeah, that apparently has single player and multiplayer aspects.
Yeah, I was really curious about that when I was like, a single player? What do you mean? So if there's a story, I'll play it. If not, we'll probably just like play and be stupid. But seeing something like that, because what Carpenter's behind it too, like he's helping write it. So it's kind of like seeing that maybe crawl back into the spotlight here soon. Because it's so weird when things like go up and down and up and down and up and down in what's popular, and not just in like horror, but in any media. Things lose relevance and gain it right back like 5 years later. There's always like some increment of time. Like in a weird spot where there's Hellraiser's coming back and so is Halloween again.
Yeah.
Okay, well we'll see where we're going here.
It might be the trend of 20s, because like again, slashers were at its peak in the 80s. We jumped 20 years. We had another resurgence of slashers in the early 2000s, and now we're another 20 years forward. You know, it might just be a big thing of just kind of like, you know, it comes back in the 20s. You know, it's like, all right, we're in that time period again where it's about time that the genre makes a comeback in some way.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I want to see. I'm hoping that with and again, we have a new I Know What You Did Last Summer that just released. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's like it ebbs and it flows, and I'm hoping people get more like okay with making things again. It's kind of a weird way to say it, right? But
Yeah.
I feel like that's where it is. Like everyone's like, I can do so much with a ghost. Everyone's done the same thing with every goddamn ghost movie there has been.
Yeah.
It's a haunted house. It's a haunted camera. It's a haunted picture frame. There's a haunted mirror in the haunted floor in my haunted bedroom, in my haunted bathroom with my haunted roof. Like, I get it. House is haunted. The moon's haunted. Let's go.
The moon's haunted. The moon's haunted. The ocean's scary.
The ocean's terrifying, actually. One thing I don't want to see, please don't make underwater horror. That's the worst thing in my opinion. That scares me.
All right, time for us to make a horror film based on the concept of BioShock.
I love BioShock. BioShock's amazing.
Just horror film, remove the plasmids, and there you go. People in underwater city getting absolutely decimated by some splicers or something.
That would actually be pretty cool.
It would be really cool.
Like a slasher on a submarine. or
True.
like or like an underwater research facility.
Yep.
That would actually be really good.
See
That
now,
would actually
see
be
now I just want to
really
see a slasher
good.
film with like the spli like the splicers, because like they like them like hooking onto like the ceiling and climbing up the walls and doing weird shit like that.
Ooh, yeah.
Just like I could picture in my mind's eye someone like slowly walking through an area with a flashlight and they're panning it side to side, and then you see as the viewer in the background something come like hanging down from the ceiling behind them, and it's like ooh, and they don't see
I
it,
don't
they don't
wanna.
hear it. It drops down behind them. You lose sight of it. They hear the noise maybe of them dropping. It goes and turns behind them, and nothing's there, and you're just like ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
Where is it? Like
Oh no.
that'd be so sick, and then you get that good moment, that good jump scare moment. But not the they turn back around and it's standing there because that's too predictable. It needs to be like a good like 30, 40 seconds later when you think like, oh, okay, it's gone, and then they hit you with the no JK, it's here.
Yeah, like it, and they don't even see it. It just like makes a noise as it runs across the background, and you just
Yep.
see a shadow, and like you still know that there's an imminent threat there.
Yep. And then they walk past the doorway, and then they get yoinked from the doorway. Ah, so good.
Yeah, there you go. Make it, someone.
All right, yep. Someone make it. I don't have the ability to do this. I'm sorry.
We're too lazy. We can come up with concepts for days and ideas and write stories, but we don't have the know-how to do anything else. Also, we're lazy.
Yep. And I don't have the finances to back it.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Not even as a low budget little like B-rate movie. Sorry. Oh my god. Like that's stuff that I would like to see though. Is just like some slight like slightly new untouched things, like that whole underwater idea or something, yeah, happening on a ship or a subway and stuff like that. A submarine. It's like those things.
Train.
Yeah, death by train. Like it's just, you know, those aren't as explored, and there are ways that you can approach the slasher genre without, you know, being like, guess where we are again? A camp. Guess where we are again? A cabin in the mountains. Guess where we are again? An apartment building. You're like, you can do. There's different settings that still could be explored, and different plots and different threats, and you know, it can be a little, you know, a little bit supernatural or paranormal, whatever you want to call it.
Well, it's the same thing with like the paranormal genre too, like where they're only using the same 5 freaking spirit types.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Whereas there's so many other avenues and options to go down, but you stick with the same thing.
Yeah. I'm like, that's why I'm like eye rolling so fucking hard at the Conjuring's resurgence, and again,
Oh,
I'm just like, I'm like, you can't keep doing this. How many demons are gonna be in this damn fucking series? And then like, it's just always a demon. It's just always a demon, and I'm just like, man, like we said last time, fucking hit me with the goddamn cryptid, man. Like,
Hit me with something that's not. It's a ghost. Oh, okay. It's an angry ghost. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that's worse.
even
No.
like, even just imagine just slightly shifting the aversion of how a ghost or a demon functions, because like that's another thing too, is that the approach of using those forms of like entities is stale as well. And so like doing it differently, that's why like when Saw came out, that was so refreshing. It's like that's a slasher film by the conventional means. However, it's not in the sense of dude stalking you down the hallway. It's you being trapped and put through the ringer. It still was an offshoot of the slasher genre, but it approached it in an interesting way by having this more like meticulous, planned out trapper kind of variation to it. You could do stuff with that, like even within the same thing. Like, we're doing a paranormal piece of media. Okay, it's a demon. Sure, awesome, great. How does it kill people? Does it throw them against the wall? Does it show up and do weird supernatural stuff? No. What if its MO is possessing a bunch of mannequins in a fucking facility that people are in, and it's just weeping angel the fuck out of them? Like, what if that's the threat? Is just a bunch of just fucking mannequins everywhere, and you never know when any of them are gonna fucking move. Like that would be so freaky.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
That is like amazing to me.
Absolutely not.
That would be so fun. It's just a whole movie where there's just a bunch of strung up dolls and strung up, mannequins and the things in there, and you don't know which ones are gonna move, which ones can move. You have there's so much fun you can have with camera play there, where you see them walk through an area, you see where all the mannequins are, they pan the camera in a different angle, 2 of them are gone. But they don't bring attention to it. They don't play a noise. They don't make a skitter sound. They don't make the character go and look behind them. It's like either you see it or you don't. Like that's just like that would be such a fun idea. And then just if you want to make it into like a little bit of the hybrid slasher thing, then they have knives or something and they do the stab. It's
I have 2 things to add.
Yeah.
Instead of the clock stopping at 3, it stops at 4. And they
Yeah.
And they have a hook hand.
Yes. I see.
Give me a mannequin with a hook hand. I would probably scream.
420.
Or with like their fingers have fish hooks in them. Like it's something small like that, or glass shards sticking out from a window breaking are still stuck in their hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. But the clock has to stop at 4. I'm sick and tired of the clock stopping at 3.
Yeah, or even just like their own damn hands. Like it's like it would be interesting if you found like a let's use this hypothetical mannequin movie. A mannequin during the movie that is like up against the it's like in a kneeling position up against the wall, like it was like clawing at the wall, and it's just in that position. And then one of the characters notes that the fingers have been like basically like rubbed down into being points, and then it's just like, oh, that's weird. And then they keep going, and then that's the one that kills everybody with its damn stabby hands. But it moves the other mannequins to spook people.
I just got like a terrible like kind of scene. Like walks up, sees the mannequin just like leaning against the, turns around and just hears like the nails scrape down, and turns back and sees everything. That'd be a no, because you instead of hearing like a jump scare noise, you just hear that grating kind of nails on wood. Yeah. And I would hate that. I would absolutely hate that.
Just a nice scene. Like, see, that gave me an image of walking into the room, seeing it against the wall with a scraping thing, but not moving. And then they turn away, and that's when you hear the scratch. And then they look back, and it's either gone, or it's just in a slightly altered position, and it's like, I don't like this. I don't like it. I don't like this at all. Oh my god, that would be so good. Like that's such cool shit. Somebody do it. Think it. Another idea. Think it.
There are so many things that you can do just by tweaking, because when you were originally talking about like the splicer coming down off the from the ceiling, I can speak. I thought of the scene where like the alien drops down behind him in like that curved position really quietly.
Oh yeah.
And then like slinks away. That is exactly what I saw, just with this figure in like a different kind of way. And like that would be horrific.
It would be.
Because it would be something familiar yet so different.
It would be very interesting. I mean, that's the power of just like changing up what it is and where it is. Like it could do so much wonders of it without it being like, it's like, yeah, I've seen that thing, just as you brought it up. I've seen that same approach to a scare before, but like just the context of it changes it so much. And also, everybody has different phobias, so it hits sometimes different people. I know a lot of people who watch the Alien movies and they don't perceive it as a horror movie because they're just like, it's a cool sci-fi movie. I'm not scared of the xenomorphs. I'm not scared of them. It's like whatever. But at the same time, I know an exact demographic that would be afraid of something that they just can't possibly like fathom. You can't possibly fathom the actual idea of being stalked by like this perfect hunter, this perfectly engineered hunter alien thing while trapped on a space station in space. There's nowhere to fucking go. Like, there's definitely people who would be scared of it, and there's definitely people who, are just like, it's too fantastical. And that's just kind of the difference of it. It's the same thing. You swap out a ghost going boo and killing somebody with a bunch of mannequins moving, and that attacks a whole different demographic of people. Then there are a lot of people who are afraid of mannequins and dolls and all that kind of stuff. So like it's just the little bit of the switch up. The little bit of the switch up is enough to hit a different demographic, but still hit that same kind of appeal at the end of it.
And then going back to that idea though, with like the mannequins and everything, a movie exists like that. Puppet Master is a movie.
Is it?
Puppet Master is an old like series of movies about not mannequins, but of guys like bunch of different like string puppets.
Ew.
And it is like a slasher-esque kind of movie, but that's just it though. There's always going to be something that predates or has a similar idea.
Mm-hmm.
But that movie, if you haven't seen that series, actually pretty good. There's also like another one that took. Dolls are always terrifying. One of my favorite like campy-ish horror movies that goes that route kind of is Darkness Falls. I think it's Darkness Falls. No, which one was Mary Shaw?
Oh,
Dead Silence. Dead Silence.
but yes. I was like, I immediately saw the puppet and her at the same time.
Right?
I was like, I saw it, but I'm like, I don't remember what the name of it is.
Like Dead Silence is a great movie. For multiple reasons. It's campy in its own right, definitely. It's in that genre era of we make a creepy movie that has weird premise and is stupid, but also the scariest part about that is if you make a noise in front of her, she rips her tongue out.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Like that alone was terrifying, but then she lives through and haunts all of her puppets. Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But there you go. Like perfect example of like something similar already is out there, but we just came out with such a different way of telling it.
Yeah. Yeah. And now my brain is just just thinking of more hypothetical things for this mannequin movie. Oh my god.
I have too many ideas of like, just with camera play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you're watching the protagonist like walk past all the mannequins and looking like the mannequin's arms and they twitch.
Mm-hmm.
And they have like that crunch noise of when like a bone twitches.
Mm-hmm.
But only you see it.
Oh yeah.
And they're netherizer and they keep moving. They don't notice it. Walking.
Yeah. The
Like,
good old
many setups you can do.
It's the thing that lived in my head for some reason was them like powering on like part of like, because in my head canon for this mannequin movie is I'm just imagining basically like a warehouse in my head. That's what I'm picturing, like that kind of aesthetic of like a facility kind of deal, like a manufacturing facility. And I'm just like, I just pictured for some reason them like turning on a light and it kind of like weakly flickers on, but then one of the lights that's actually really strong conveniently is over like a particular mannequin. And so the protagonist is like focused on that, but there's a bunch of others that are in the room, and that's when you see like maybe one of them subtly move or something like that, and it's just like, ooh, it's like, oh man, it's to your left. Like it's even
like,
scarier.
I'm good.
It's even scarier if the idea is that whatever this threat is, whether it's like a living mannequin, whether it's possession, a demon, whatever it is, if it literally only actually controls one, but like the fact that maybe it's also moving some of the other ones manually, like with its hands, it's moving other ones around. So it's just like this whole idea of like 99% of these mannequins are not going to do a single fucking thing. But one of them is, and it's like which one is?
Stab you.
Yeah, and one of them's gonna stab them, and you could do so many fun shots of just like mannequins building up the tension, and very subtly like something moves, or like maybe even like the fear of that situation itself disappears. Like imagine if you saw like, okay, we're going into like imaginary, just like hypotheticals here, but just imagine that you saw like a scene where there's just like there's like 20 mannequins in a room, and it's going through, and you as the viewer are like, oh my god, one of these is definitely the killer mannequin. They're gonna jump scare me. One of them's gonna move, twitch something. But then you see it in one of the shots in the distance, you see a mannequin moving, maybe subtly, maybe only a little bit, maybe it's just feet. and it goes into like a control room, and then you're like, okay, cool, and they keep walking through, and like if you didn't see that, you're still probably tense because you're just like, oh, one of these mannequins gonna move, but the person who's like that actually perceived that is like, okay, no, it's not, but like what's happening, and then the mannequin ends up turning on like a part of the machinery that ends up fucking over the protagonist or something like that. Like it starts moving machine lines or something like that within the facility, and that ends up like screwing him over. But then when it pans up to the control room, nothing's in there anymore. Like that's just like such a cool idea of subtlety and subverting expectation that you could do with stuff like that.
Oh no, 100%. And my biggest thing is I'm also thinking of.
Hi guys, welcome to our film theory podcast. Now
this is ridiculous. So you said turns on the generator and then the lights on one, right?
Yeah.
So you have the scene where the protagonist is like, okay, obviously curious, and starts like wading through all the mannequins, and all the music just cuts.
Oh no.
As he's walking up to it, and like going and approaching it, and everyone's like waiting with bated breath. He looks at it, looks at the light bulb. Nothing happens. And he just leaves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's the craziest thing, is because like you don't need to have something happening. The absence of something happening is going to do it. Like I could easily say, oh, and then the generator flicks off, or like a mannequin at the very back left corner of the room like moves its head slightly. But I think it's worse when nothing happens.
Oh yeah, like
genuinely.
It's the anti-jump scare is definitely very horrifying in a lot of situations. I'm looking at you, game devs, man. The amount of times you feel like you need to have jump scares every 5 steps, like stop it, get some help. Like like oh my god, like one of the things that I thought of, so when I was playing through, this is going off the topic of slashers at this point, but I'm locked in. Welcome in, guys. If you're enjoying this podcast, expect off-topic shit. But like, one of the things when I was playing through the Mortuary Assistant, one of the things, which is such a good scare in that game, is there's a lot of stuff that's like, oh, there's this scary jump scare, or there's a thing standing in the corner of the room or something, right? But there was one scare that was like the scariest of them all, and that was, for me at least, was there was a mirror scare at one point, which I only ever encountered once, but it was like you look in the mirror, and as you're walking by, there's someone else standing in the back of the mirror, but if you look away and you look back, it goes away, and nothing else happens. There's no jump scare, you don't get jumped by anything, there's no noise. Yeah. If you go to the bathroom in the mirror, there's a chance that the one of the victims, previous victims, is in the mirror, and it doesn't do anything. There's no scare. There's nothing. You could see it. So like when I saw it out of my peripheral. So I was walking by, and I was like, was there 2 of me in that mirror? And I looked back, and then nothing was there. And then when I reviewed the footage, I was like, oh, no, she was just standing there in the background that whole time. The one of the characters, and I was just like, that's crazy.
Nope.
And like I know there's also another one that has like involving the mirror is with the one girl just like pointing at the mirror or something like that.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's a scripted one. I think that's a scripted one. Yeah. I think that's
one of the like little story beats to find one of the codes.
Yeah, I think that one is the one that throws you into the asylum or whatever it is. But, but like, you know, it's just like the subtlety of it. Like that game for me is like a big one that always lives rent free in recent games, because of its like subtlety. Like a majority of the scares in the game don't make a sound, and they don't jump scare you, and they don't need to make a sound when you do notice it. Like they don't always make you aware that you saw like
I hate
that you
that
saw a
little
scare.
Bastard. I hate that demon so much. That thing took years off my life.
Oh my god!
Appearing on top of the cabinet, appearing in the corner, under the table. I hate that thing. That thing got me so bad.
The one that scared me the most in that game wasn't one of the ones of like, oh, you turn around and he's on top of something. It was the one when you're on the fucking computer and it walks up to the fucking computer. I don't know if you've gotten that one.
I don't think I got that one.
Yeah,
I'm very happy.
There's 2 that happen. There's 2 that happen like that. There's one where when you're on the computer, the white one will kind of poke his head up on the left side of the computer and look at you, and then if you pull back from the computer, he's gone. And the second one is the shadowy one will walk from the operating table over to the computer and stand in front of you. And then again, you pull away from the computer and it's gone. But I've gotten both of those, and those both, I hate that so much. I hate being locked into a perspective and then something comes in off screen. Like I was so uncomfortable. I think when the one walked up to me, I think when the white little dude popped up, I think I was just like, "Oh, hi, buddy!" Like that was like cute to me. But when the shadow dude walked up to me, I was like, "Am I gonna get jump scared?" Like I'm like, I don't know, man. I was like, I was so scared. Because I was just like, am I gonna like pull off of this like computer and I'm just gonna get like the biggest jump scare of my life? And instead, he just nope, poof, he gone.
Yep, I'm good.
I'm just like, subtlety is so good, so good.
It's underutilized in a lot of things. Like I get one of my favorite things when all the music's out. The moment I'm playing a game and the atmosphere just gets deleted, I'm like, excuse me? Or if they lock me, like you said, lock you in a place, or like you're reading a note and all of a sudden you get like a, hey, like in your ear. No, and like there's nothing else. You don't hear any footsteps. You don't hear anything else. You just heard that. And I hate that. If there's like some ambiance that plays while I'm locked onto a computer or locked into a note trying to read something, and I hear like scratching behind me, it's just like, I hate whatever you are. I hate whatever you are.
The sound, okay, this gets me. The sound of something walking behind you and you turn around and nothing's there.
Oh,
I hate that. I hate that so much. That gets me almost every time because I'm just like, especially because you get that like tension where you're like, am I going to turn around and something's going to be standing behind me because that's scary? Or am I going to turn around and nothing's going to be behind me? I'm going to turn around again and something's behind me. And it's like, so there's just so many like situations where it's like, I don't know how this is going to scare me. And the build up to this is horrifying. And then it not happening is equally horrifying because you're like, is it priming something? Is something coming after this? It's so fucking bad, and I hate it so much. Like
I literally just went through that one, and I hated it so much because you played Dread Flats, right?
Yeah.
Like that moment when you're walking down the hallway and supposedly behind
that's the one with the granny, right? The haunted granny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The granny in the place, and you hear her footsteps plopping behind you. And the game prompts you to turn around. So your brain is like, okay, I turn around. Nothing's there. Okay, this bitch is gonna be in front of me. She's not there, and she's just walking. She just continues to walk behind you.
Yep.
With nothing happening.
That's also very reminiscent of little detailed scares like in PT. There's a point in, I don't know if you've ever got the opportunity to play PT.
Sadly, no. I never did.
Yeah, there's a scare in it that is more of a conceptual scare because it doesn't actually ever like do anything to you, but the knowledge of it is so fucking horrifying. There's a point in the game when Lisa is behind you the whole time, and people only found this out because they like, detached their camera from the character, and there's just a point when she's just basically attached to you walking behind you, but no matter how many times you turn around, she's not behind you, and it's just like she's like bound to your back camera, so if you turn, it turns her around. But I'm just like, it's just like freaky shit like that is in that game. So horrifying. Like subtlety is such a beautiful thing, and I think more people are starting to do it again, but there was definitely a dry spell of it for a while. Like, even like to bring it back into the slasher conversation, like you have a horror movie and you're trying to build up tension, but not try to be like, and someone has to die in the next 3 seconds. You can literally have it so that someone's in the kitchen, they're cutting up some nice yummy carrots for a snack, and they leave their knife on the cutting board, and they walk away, they do something else, and in another scene, maybe they're in the other room next door, but you could still see into the kitchen. You see a silhouette leaving the kitchen and going into the basement or something, and then you're like, okay, that's freaky. And maybe the main character does one of those slow turnarounds, like, did I hear something? Like, oh no, we're good. And they keep going around. Maybe it's like a whole 5 minutes of them just doing other stuff around the house. Maybe they get a phone call, whatever. Nothing happens, and then they go back into the kitchen, and the only thing you see out of the corner of the camera screen, and they don't bring focus to it, but the knife's off the cutting board. It's like just that idea that you're like, okay, someone's in the house, in the basement. She doesn't know, and the knife's gone. Like, that is horrifying, but it's not jumping in your face. It's not zooming in the camera and making 67 orchestral sounds. It's not the character turning to the cutting board and being like, wait, didn't I put the knife there? It's none of that. It's just you see it or you don't. And like, but if you see it, it's so much worse. Like, it's so good. It's just that's so good to me.
And then on the offshoot, you have the characters like, that knife was a gift from my grandpa for my 20th birthday.
God, it was a gift from my grandfather for the 20th birthday, and he gave it to my grandmother, and she cooked with it every day. Too bad she was brutally murdered. Oh my God. In a fit of rage, my grandfather murdered her with that knife, and then you're like, oh, okay, the knife's haunted. I got you. Thank you for clarifying. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, sure. Her soul is imprinted in the knife, and so now she kills people with a knife. Okay, I get it. You didn't have to be so on the nose with me with that. It's. But like subtlety goes so fucking far. It goes so fucking far. Like, again, not actually, kind of half slasher film. Fucking oh shit, I'm forgetting the name of it. The Nicolas Cage recent movie. The devil's in half the movie.
Oh, the one where
it's following a detective.
Nicolas
Nicolas Cage,
Cage?
yeah.
Oh, oh god damn it.
What was the killer's name?
It was the one.
Fuck, man, I'm looking it up, man.
Long legs.
Ah, thank you. Yes, long legs. Yes. For some reason, you know what name was in my head, which totally wasn't the name.
What?
Salad fingers.
Salad. I mean,
salad
kind of
fingers.
Opposite.
Yeah, very much the opposite.
God.
But long legs is literally just edging the movie. That movie. Like, I don't. Have you seen Long Legs yet?
No, I still need to watch it. I know the jokes about Nicolas Cage in the car. About like screaming and shit.
Yeah, but like that movie is so it's like a masterclass in subtlety. There is so much stuff in it that's just meant to make you uncomfortable, and most of it doesn't pay off. There is like 2 jump scares I could think of in that entire movie.
I mean, that's good. I would rather less is more, in my opinion. With so
there's a lot of people or things walking around in the background. And there's also like, since the whole premise is like involving like the devil, there are like 11 or 12 scenes, which are, I think, a large majority of the scene transitions, where you could see the devil somewhere in the scene. It's like, there's like one where it's like standing behind one of the characters who's inevitably going to die. There's one where it's like, outside a window, one that's in a reflection, one that's like, you know, whatever, and they just keep shoving the image of the devil, and it just showing that the devil's constantly following the protagonist. And it's such a cool aesthetic, but yet the actual like premise, like the actual push of it actually being involving the devil doesn't come in until like the last fucking like 20-30 minutes. Like, it's like before that, it's just like long legs is killing people. Long legs is killing people. Long legs is killing people. And it's like there's insinuation that he's like, oh, he worships the devil or whatever. But it's like, yeah, he could just be insane and being like, yeah, I worship the devil. And so like, but the whole time, the devil's in every scene. And like, that's so freaking cool to have that subtlety. So like me rewatching it, like I've seen it now like 4 times, I think. I'm still like finding the devil. Like I'm still just like, oh, there's another one. Yeah, I'm like, yeah. Everyone else I've watched it with is watching it for the first time, and they're like, ooh, this is cool. Or I'm scared, and then I'm here like playing Where's Waldo, like, like, I'm like, surely I missed another instance of the devil. And I remember like it became like a mini game even among like critics and people who were writing like the articles and stuff about like reviews for the movie. I remember seeing a bunch of articles that are like, every time the devil shows up in Longlegs, and then they'd only list 5 times, and I'm like, there's more than that. You missed some. And then I'd look at another list, and they'd be like, it'd have like 3 of the same and 2 different ones, and I'm just like, you're missing some. And I'm just like, there's a bunch of them actually, and just some of them are more subtle than the other because a lot of them they just have the opacity turned to like fucking like 5%. And it's like you gotta like really squint and be like, oh, you know that character standing there? If you look really closely, they have horns behind their head. And it's like, ooh, like they really had fun playing with shadows and opacity. Like if you crank up the brightness on the movie, there's a lot of times like the dark shadowed corner in the background that the camera's focusing on for some reason, but you can't see shit. Turn up the brightness, the devil's there. Like it's just so it's so cool. And it adds such an interesting layer, and it's a narrative device. It's a narrative device too. So by being like, yeah, this threat was always there, and always watching Wazowski. But like that's another thing I'd love to see more of, especially within the slasher film genre, because that's the latest movies have definitely been lacking of subtlety. Even the returns of Scream and Texas Chainsaw and all this stuff, the subtlety is out the window, which one could argue Scream was never about subtlety. It's a satire, but it's still just kind of like, yeah, all of them have been kind of like, yeah, all right, you're very on the nose. I'd like to just see more build up. Like you could refrain from killing anybody for like a good like 40 minutes, man. Kill your first victim in like 40 minutes, but make me on edge the entire time. Keep edging me with horror. Throughout those 40 minutes. Like, instead of spending your time expositioning about fucking some random high school best friend's great aunt that used to buy her cookies on Sundays, like, you know, instead put that time to a disappearing something in the house or a reflection in a window during a scene that is of somebody who's not currently on screen. Like, just something like that would go such a long way for me in slashers and stuff like that, in horror in general.
It's one of those things that, like, because when you're talking about the scene with like the knife disappearing and stuff like that, one thing that I like that I barely see it like anymore is knives used to have a shine to them when the killer had them standing in the corner.
Oh, yep.
Like they used to be like a quick shine, and then that was all you saw. Like it was completely visual. So instead of like noticing the knife is gone, I would say notice the knife is gone, and then you see a shine in the corner, and that's it, you leave it. Or you see a shine in the corner, and then you pan to the knife in the background being gone, and then you just can leave it.
Yep.
Like you can do so much just with it's set dressing. It's setting up what's going to happen so that everyone is on edge. Because if you show someone in an area and you leave them there and do nothing with them, the protagonist or the character that's about to die could be doing the most aimless thing, on the phone talking, having a great conversation, just walking around. They approach that corner, you are immediately tense. Because you're like, is they gonna die or is nothing gonna happen? And then nothing happens.
Yep.
And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then someone 2 houses over dies.
Yep. like combining literally what you just said with what I said. Person's in the kitchen, cuts up nice yummy carrot, walks to living room. Living room's connected to kitchen. They go to living room. You see like the figure leave the kitchen, go to the fucking basement door. They go back into the kitchen. They don't focus on the cutting board, but knife gone. Camera turns its angle. You see something standing in the top of the staircase of the fucking basement. Little glint of the knife. Walks down the steps. Character never acknowledges it because they're too busy talking to mom on the phone. It's like,
there you go.
It's like it's just they never brought focus to it. They didn't do a jump scare noise. No exaggerated reactions. No fucking character going, oh my god, is something at this at the top of the stairs, and then they walk over and they like have to go down into the scary dark basement with the light switch that doesn't work. No, none of that shit. You don't have to do that. Keep that in your 2010 horror movies, please.
The
But
beauty about that is it's more realistic.
mm-hmm.
Because like if someone scares you and like if one of your friends creeps up behind you and taps your shoulder, they don't make like this loud noise. They don't blow a trumpet. They
Yeah.
just tap you and you jump
Yep.
because they were just quiet.
Yep.
There's not a whole ass brass section behind me when my friend is there.
Yes. Yes. Silence is powerful.
It really is. It goes back to the whole thing of like hand hold through a horror movie, though. Is like you need to tell the audience when to be scared by making these loud, grandiose noises. When you can just put something in there that's a blink and you miss it, and just like you said, some people aren't going to catch those. Other people are going to be absolutely terrified, and the other people are going to be like, "You okay? What's going on?" And it's going to create a different kind of moment where they're confused and the other person is shitting their pants.
Yeah. I like. Fuck. Fucking. I looked at the time. I'm like, we gotta wrap it up soonish. But we're over 2 hours now. But
Oh,
yeah.
thanks for
But
sticking by if you have.
yeah. Thank you for sticking around for the long yaps that have gone a little bit all over the place in the last like 40 minutes, but it's okay. I remember I made in high school. I was in film class, and I of course I'm the one freak in the class that makes a horror movie. Everyone else is like dramas or cute little like me and my boyfriend films or like a little like documentary stuff, and then I'm here like, so I'm gonna try to freak you out. And we of course we had to play these for the class, right? And me and a couple of friends were like, super horror buffs, so we were like, oh, we know what the fuck we want to see. We had this thing that was like, it was like this idea of this like thing that just like literally like essentially lives in your shadow. And I don't think we had enough plot for it to, well, why it existed. It was like a fucking 10-minute thing, but it was just like, yeah, this thing that exists in your shadow. And we had a scare at one point in it that was the someone had walked into a room, and the thing, since it exists in your shadow and it follows you, one of the other characters had actually seen something follow their friend, and they followed the friend in there like, hey dude, someone's like behind you or whatever, and they run in there, and both their friend and the thing is gone. There's nobody in the fucking room. Something, they just disappeared. And when they're in the room, it starts doing a bunch of different like cuts, different pans of different parts of the room as the person's like looking around. And one of the cuts back to facing the protagonist or the subject, whatever, was something standing directly behind them. But then it was like super short. It was like literally like you had like a split second to basically process that it was there. It didn't linger there. It didn't build up any music. It didn't like make the character like stiff up or turn around or anything like that. Like they just kept like looking for their friend, and but it flashed to that thing behind them, flashed away, and then the next time it flashed back to the character, it was them turning around to leave the room, and nothing happens. That's it. It was just like that second of like friend gone, tension initiates. Well, actually, I guess the tension initiates from the seeing something following your friend. Then it was friend gone. That's extra scary, and then suddenly there's something there, and then nope, gone. Nothing happens. Like it was such a good shot. I wish I still actually had that little short film, but like, oh my god, there's so many projects that I did like in high school and early college that I wish I still had access to, between game design and like, because I made a short little horror game too, and like I just don't have access to anymore. I could probably maybe hunt them down on some old Google Drive somewhere or something, but yeah, it's like it's gone. But like that was like such a fun little project we had, and so much of it just it was quiet. I don't think we had much music in it at all. I think there was like music in the intro, and I think there was like maybe one like jump scary kind of noise at one point, but a majority of it was just like quiet, especially when like a scare was going to be done. Like we just completely removed any audio. Yep. Like even ambient like white noise stopped. It was just like if there was like the sound of like, one of the scenes was like in the kitchen at one point, and there was the sound of someone cooking in the background, so like you just heard like the sizzling on the stovetop. But when the horror stuff would happen, nothing, dead silent. We zeroed out all of the background noise. It's gone. Outside of maybe you'd hear like the characters, like the main characters, like footsteps or something. That's about it. It's just like that was it. The sound was gone. It's like subtlety is so good. Like that scares me. Like even just like imagining that at like a higher fidelity in my mind. Like imagining someone competent doing that exact thing that I did. Dude, I would shit myself.
Yeah, I would not be able to like those flashes just make you uneasy.
Mm-hmm.
And uneasy is fear. Like if you just let unease and just a chill linger, it festers, and it's the worst when you don't do anything. I find it funny that like I realize that as we continue to go through this first season of this podcast, we're gonna have talking points about specific genres, but they're always gonna offshoot because we just like, and I guess this is a perfect like season 0, season 1, whatever you want to call it, of like we enjoy the things that are scary.
Yeah.
To so many different degrees in what we think of like different movies, different games and stuff like that, different genres, and I'm excited to explore them all and to see, because I'm figuring out and like really realizing a bunch of things about the genre and what I more gravitate to and what I want to see more as I continue to have these conversations. And I hope all of you watching kind of feel the same, like figuring out what you enjoy in horror or what you don't like. By all means, any of that stuff, let us know. Leave them in the comments. Let us know what's your favorite. That is always awesome.
Your mic cut out there for a second there in that.
God, why?
I don't know.
My mic hates me.
It was doing it a little bit earlier, but that was the worst one. I
might need to look into that.
Yeah, that was a good like 2.5 second mute there.
Damn.
But yeah, it's an interesting thing. It'll also be interesting like going forward and stuff, like with either subsequent seasons or even just coming back to this, you know, a year, 2, 3 down the line, and just kind of being like, what has happened since then, and how like even horror is like changed and how it's shifted and stuff like that. Because like it's such a cool medium, and like I like a lot of like things. I'm a very open person with like the media I consume. Like music, I listen to like everything. You know, movies, I watch everything. I watch comedies, I watch actions, I watch superhero stuff, I watch horror stuff. But horror is like one of those things where I'm so fascinated in as a whole, because there's just so many ways that you can express horror, and like the presence of fear, that I don't think like a lot of other genres have the verse at. Like I feel like a lot of comedy kind of hits similarly. Like, yeah, it could still be equally funny, but like it kind of approaches the same kind of like area, because you're just trying to make the haha. There's just a lot of absurdity with it. Action, you think of how many movies are just like John Wick, you know, like, and there's not like too much that you can really expand on with it besides like shifting what the motivation is of the protagonist and antagonist. But like horror is like so different. Like I can drop a horror movie in front of somebody that's just like, there's spiders, and someone's like, oh, I hate that. And it's like, but it doesn't, like, but it doesn't bother me.
Not.
But like, it's not scary otherwise. I could drop the movie Cujo in your face, and now you're afraid of a rabid dog. It's like, you know, I could drop, you know, a supernatural movie, and that bothers somebody else. Like, there's just such a giant verse of it, because fear exists in people differently, and I think that's such a cool way, and how people decide to utilize the tension and the payoff of the medium. It's cool.
All I'm thinking of now is a horror movie or horror game based on the phobia for long words.
Okay, the movie is that every 10 words you have to say a long word or you die. Oh no. The dyslexic's worst nightmare.
It would just be, I just don't know how it would be like everywhere this person looks, the words just get longer. Like do it like a number 23 kind of thing where words everywhere.
It's just, I mean, actually, I got an idea. Just the idea of like there's some things obviously happening, whether it's like supernatural or paranormal or whatever. Um, but you follow a protagonist who is starting to lose their ability to read because all the words are just getting longer and more absurd. And then that becomes a plot point to what's going on, whatever it is, a curse, an aliens, the mysticism, whatever.
Okay.
It's just like it just starts being this weird thing where just everything they just keep seeing words everywhere, and the words keep getting longer, and the more that it keeps happening, the worse it gets, and it's just kind of driving the person to the brink of insanity. Like that's just like fucking. There you go. There's the fear of long words. Be a movie.
We have given you 3 ideas.
Yep. Someone
Go
out
for
there.
it.
Someone Splicer the movie, Mannequin Factory the movie, and I'm Afraid of Long Words the movie.
I think that's gonna be my favorite one.
I'm afraid of Long Words the movie. It's like, I'm just I can't.
My gosh.
It's cool. It's cool. I love horror. I love it. If you can't tell by our yap
Yes,
no
we do. We
it's
literally can just keep talking about this. But
I can. We should not.
We should call this a close on this episode.
We definitely should. And in that closure, the next episode will be a focus on creatures, monsters, the things that go bump in the night that aren't so human.
My cryptids, how I love you.
Yes, and so yeah, anything from cryptids to ghosts to the bringing probably back alien at some point. It will probably be mentioned yet again. Things like that will be the subject matter of the next episode. And our opinions on that and our experiences with that. Of course, you could kind of wrap up the idea of creatures to a lot of different things, but I'm probably going to focus on the monstrous over going into the realm of just like demon. Demon.
I'm tired of demons.
I'm tired of demons, man.
Every time I play Phasmophobia, it's a demon. Every time I look at a new supernatural, it's a demon. I'm tired of demons.
Yeah, demon.
Got demons coming out my ears at this point.
I don't
even have ears.
Play Phasmophobia, it's a demon or an Oni every time, It's
I miss the Raiju, man.
Yup. But that'll be the focus of the next episode, and then there should still be another 3 after that. So we have a lot to continue talking about, and this whole season is more or less creating a baseline. I imagine a future season will be a bit of a different tone because I'll probably aim for getting us some more guests and some more more back and forth related topics, and instead of just 2 nerds gushing, a little bit more back and forth. I'll get some people who have very different opinions on horror than us, and kind of I'm a little afraid to call it a debate, but kind of more so that I think would be very interesting for topics later on. But for this whole arc of our era here with Atmosfearic, it's going to be a lot of baselines, and I'm excited for the upcoming episodes because we've established, I think, with these 2 episodes a very good baseline, and now we're gonna get hyper specific. I feel like we as our conversation went with slashers, you could tell it's kind of broad. Yeah, you can go like the purist route and be like, yeah, stalker, slasher, right? But you can also go the route where I was.
You don't have a lot of movies to watch,
right? But then you can also go the route where I started being like, well, kind of Alien or Predator, right? Where it's kind of like adjacent. It's sci-fi slasher, or the bringing up the hypothetical Mannequin movie where it's supernatural slasher. You can kind of go that route, but these next couple episodes are very honed in on the topics that they are, and so it'll be a lot more definable to what we're actually talking about. Which that does not mean we'll stay on topic, but
oh no,
absolutely
never.
not.
That will never be a promise or a guarantee.
That is not. And the irony is we still followed the outline. Is the craziest part.
Got to be kidding me.
Even with the tangents, we're still on track. We covered everything I was kind of gonna hit, so we're kind of killing it unintentionally.
My gosh.
But I appreciate you guys again for watching. As always, both of our socials will be down in the description below, so if you want to follow Ciaran over here, little goopy buddy over here, or anything else of mine, they'll all be down below, so you can give us a follow. And I'm excited to see the next episode with our creature feature.
Bye-bye.
I just look at him.